Hey, Jason from Fairwheel Bikes here.
Hey everybody, Garrett from Fairwheel here.
Today we're going to build this Crumpton frame.
We're talking 12 pounds, 5.4 kilos.
We think it's going to be pretty special.
Let's go build a bike together.
Parts of Passion hasn't been around for quite a few years now, but luckily I had one of these in my spare parts box.
For the seat post of choice, we are going to use one from Bjorn. These are handmade in Slovenia. It's full carbon, even the cradle and the yoke, and then it has titanium hardware.
We'll just use an aluminum post so we're not clamping on the nice carbon post. All right, so we got the Cane Creek 110 headset in. For the fork, we kind of went out of the box on this one, and instead of using the typical Envy fork, we got a fork from Open off their Open Mind bike, stripped it, painted it to match. Sort of the trick was Open uses an 1 3/8 lower instead of the typical 1 1/2. Nick, being a super cool frame builder, built us a custom head tube specifically for this fork to work on this frame. That's kind of the nice thing with working with him, is that he builds every component in-house, so he can build his own bottom brackets, head tubes, stays, rather than just buying them pre-built.
Stem and spacers, we're going to keep it matchy. Got an extra light Hyperstem Stealth. This is the 110 millimeter version, 6 degree. For the spacers, we're going to use these really, really neat 3D printed extra light hyper spacers. For the bar, we're going to use the MCFK Aero Road handlebar. These have 130 millimeters of drop and 77 millimeters reach, and they weigh 175.5 grams.
So we got the bottom bracket in, standard THM PF30. Bearings have been replaced with HSC ceramics. Crank's going to be the THM Clavicula SE. As of now, it's still the lightest crank on the market and has been for the last decade, though we've got a line on something new that may surpass it shortly. Chainrings Praxis, not the absolute lightest, but one of our favorites because the shift quality is top-notch for an aftermarket chainring. So we'll put these on next.
All right, the caliper of choice are going to be the Hope RX4s. This guy's going to be doing some mountainous descents, so what we did was we got him a 4-piston caliper that weighs about as much as a 2-piston caliper, so we like that. Look at these. These are the inner tubes we chose for this bike. These are the Ride Now TPU tubes. For the cassette, we chose an SLR3 1134, 2-piece construction, riveted together. The black cogs are aluminum. The rainbow ends are steel. And we find that these are typically 80 to 90 grams lighter than a Dura-Ace cassette.
Tires, Panaracer Agilis 28C. Rotors, Ashima AI Neons 2-piece, stainless steel rotor, aluminum body, alloy 6-bolt.
For the water bottle cage, we're going to use the Farewell Bikes V3 cage. These are one of our favorite small items to add to any lightweight build we're doing because they are 7 grams per cage. For the saddle, we got the MCFK full carbon cutout saddle with a pressure relief channel. This thing is 76 grams.
This was a particularly exciting bike, I think, for both of us. We've been talking about it for a while. The frame was 6 months in production, so we had a lot of time to sort out the details and get excited about it. I think it's particularly cool to come up with a real-world, everyday bike with large tires, disc brakes, and still be at 12 pounds, under 12 pounds, 5'4" kilos.
I know a little bit about Nick Crumpton, that he's based out of Texas, that all of his frames are custom. Did you have to do anything special when getting this frame made in terms of requirements for the rider or anything?
Now, the nice thing with this one is the rider already had a custom Crumpton, so he kind of knew what to expect. He had the geometry dialed from a previous bike. So it was just some tweaks in stiffening up the ride, lightening up the frame, doing the custom head tube for the open fork, just accommodating the bigger tires and that sort of stuff. But the day-to-day meat of the thing was already decided. And it's nice that Nick does everything. He builds all of his components in-house, all of his pieces, so everything can be tailored specifically to the rider.
So 5.4 kilos. I'm just doing a quick look. You got the really cool, headset spacers, the saddle and post, one cage. Was there anything in particular you put on this bike purely to cut weight alone, or was it all just sort of, bunch of light parts on a light frame?
We kind of approached it with the idea of having it durable, everyday rider, but at a respectable weight, or not even respectable, but super lightweight. I particularly like the hollow bar end plugs. I thought that was just a nice touch that we don't often do.
I like those too.
The Bjorn post, I think, is super cool. I love how they get their offset. It looks really nice. It looks unique. They keep it light, and it's just kind of a nice touch for the bike.
Got the Hope 4 piston calipers on there.
Those are quite functional. I really like those too. We got the good gearing with the 3434 for the small gear. Dura-Ace Di2, how can you go wrong with that? Still managed to put an Aero handlebar on it.
And I love the extra light wheel set with the Agilis tires and the TPU tubes. Do you know what the finished weight on those was, all set up?
The tires came in just under 200 grams each. The tubes were both 19 point something.
Little tiny things that I like about this bike. I'm a huge fan of the Bjorn stuff. It all looks really, really sexy. And I think that with the MCFK saddle, it just complements it really well. Can you tell me a little bit about the MCFK stuff? I love it, but I haven't really seen much of it until I started hanging around here more.
It's German made. The saddles are kind of nice because they come in 5 widths, I think, from 125 up to about 145. They come with cutout, without cutout. They come leather covered, raw carbon. They do a lot of variations of the saddle. It's actually one of the most popular saddles we do across the range of people. It seems to fit the widest range of people of the all carbon saddles, and still comes in at 80 grams, 85 grams on average. The bars, it's one of the shortest reach, shallowest drop bars on the market, which tends to make it really popular with a lot of us that aren't super flexible. We paired it up with the extra light stem. He's able to run a 110 on there, keep the aero bar. It sweeps back just a little bit and flares out just a little bit, which is kind of nice. We did do the THM crank, of course, because it's the lightest there is, replacing the bearings with the HSC ceramics.
I'm actually a big fan. I use the Ashima Rotors on basically all of my bikes. It's like the perfect mix of lightweight, and you're not gonna, pay up the wazoo to get them.
They are pretty nice, and they're light. They're 68 grams for a 140, I think.
Yep. I loved the minimal look of the seat collar. I think it goes along really nicely with the bottle cage.
The seat collar was actually kind of nice that I still had that in one of my spare parts boxes, because Parts of Passion has been out of business for got to be close to a decade now. So to have one of their sub 5 gram collars still left in the right size for this bike was just kind of a nice turn of fate. We do still need to do the final cut on the steer after we do the final fitting. But otherwise, it's pretty much the finished bike. So I'm looking forward to getting to spend a little time on it before it goes to the rider. So thanks for watching. We tried to do things a little differently this time and have less of the actual build and just focus more on the bike itself. So if you like that, let us know. If you don't like that, let us know.